Very good. All right, so I think we're sort of on the 10:30-ish, and I guess one or two people will join as we go along, but let's get started. So let me hand over to Vivek, and he is going to introduce himself and sort of get us all started, and then we'll get going with our presentation. So thank you, everyone. Over to you, Vivek.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm extremely happy to welcome all of you to this welcome event of the Indian chapter of European Association of Science Editors. And like I am a science editor myself. I edit medical journals. I have been doing it for more than 20 years now. And I'm also part of, or I would say I coordinate a group of editors by the name of ICF, Indian Copy Editors Forum, and I see some members from that also in the participant list. So I have experience with leading the chapters, like Editorial Freelancers Association. They had their first chapter outside of the US in India, and I started that chapter. The minimum requirement at that time was to have 5 members to be able to start a chapter, and I became a member, and then I managed to get 4 more, and that's how we started. I have collaborated with Editors Canada also, when I was part of their volunteer team when they had held the first international conference for editors. And I had been corresponding with Ease also about starting a chapter. That was long time back. Before me, someone else also tried to do it, but as we say, things happen when they are supposed to happen. And my colleague Yatindra, he brought forward this proposal, and I am happy that I have been chosen to take this responsibility. And I have a very capable leadership team that's assisting me. Roohi, can you move to the next slide so I can. So in the leadership team, in the role of consultant, guide, and mentor, we have Mr. Yatindra Joshi, who is a BLS certified diplomat status editor, the only Indian editor in that list for the diplomat status. And we have only 30 all over the world, so he is part of our elite panel. As my co-chair, I have Roohi Ghosh from Cactus. So when she goes over some of the slides, she will give you a detailed intro, but she is a, I would say, peer review expert. Her expertise lies in peer review, and she will be leading some of the events of EASE later on in the year. Those will be related to writing. We have Visalakshy Loganathan also with us. She has the distinction of organizing the first editors conclave in India, in Chennai, quite some time back, and now she's involved with all text writing. She heads the company by the name of One Paper Publishing, and she's also a co-founder of a startup based in United States. And she's doing a lot of work related to with all text accessibility and AI. And later in the list, I see Anita Nagarajan, who like me is a STM editor, but she does more than me, much more than me, I would say. And she's part of some UNESCO initiatives, and she does a lot of work with educational materials, so developing that material. So plenty of guidance is available, plenty of resources are available with this organization, and that's why we have joined this. And I hope in the India chapter will be the leader in among the 12 chapters that EASE currently has. And EASE, like the other editing organizations, has a long history, more than 50 years, and it has members from more than 50 countries. And I think the current membership stands at 650, which is a very good number. So that's the starting round. from myself. I'm like, I joined from my phone. There was some problem with the laptop. So now the next person can take over, and I think it's Mary. So she will describe to you in detail what ease actually is.
Thank you, Vivek. That's a great introduction. So, Roohi, go ahead and move on to the next slide. And I think the next slide. There you go. And the next one. Okay, so let me just introduce myself. My name is Mary Hodgson. I am the Secretary of EASE, so I'm actually a paid member of staff of EASE. I'm one of two. There's myself, I work 4 days a week, and I have a colleague who works 5 mornings, Lucy Hampshire. So if you ever need anything at the EASE team, we're here for you as much as we can be. So my job today is to give you a quick overview of EASE, what we do, what our activities are, and some sort of ideas about what's coming up in the future. So exciting times here at EASE. We've got lots of initiatives underway. So just to give you a brief overview, I know some of you are already EASE members, so some of you this content will be quite familiar, but I think it's always worth just recapping. So EASE has its own journal called European Science Editing. But as Vivek said, although that's the name of our association, these days we are actually totally global. We have a global membership, over 50 countries represented, and from all walks of all disciplines of the sort of scholarly editing and publishing industry. So European Science Editing is really there for you. Can I have the next slide, Roohi? Just so that it has its own website, it's hosted on the Arthur platform, and you can go there, you can follow it from the main EASE website, you can just link through, or you can go there directly off the URL. But what I would really recommend that you do is sign up for an email alert so that you can get a quick email when the latest articles are published. There's about 25 articles published a year. It's all diamond open access, and it will be great for you to get those publications. But also, if you're a researcher and you've got a paper, or you would like to publish something with us, then you can go ahead and submit a manuscript to our editorial team, and Senya and her team will go through the process of helping you get published. Next slide. So the other major thing that we do is we hold a biannual conference. So once every 2 years, we hold a conference. We were slightly derailed by the pandemic. So actually, we've held a conference every year for the last 4 years. But now, hopefully, we're back in our sort of normal rhythm. So this year, we held a conference in Istanbul, which was also hybrid. And then in 2 years' time, we'll hold another in-person conference with a hybrid format. So the format is generally over 3 days. We have about 10 sessions. We have up to 30 odd speakers drawn from all over the world. So the great thing about having a hybrid format is it means we can really access the very best speakers, because they are able to join us online even if they're from far and wide. We have a whole opportunity for you to discover author and editor innovations, discuss peer review, learn from those expert speakers, network with your fellow EASE members, speakers and sponsors. And alongside the conference, we run a poster exhibition and a competition there. So you can submit a poster, you can get involved on social media. And at the end of it all, we wrap the whole thing up, all the recordings, all the slide decks, all the session summaries, into a conference packet, which is part of your registration fee. So if you've registered for the conference, you will receive the packet as part of your registration. And if you didn't register for the conference, you will be able to purchase that packet after the event on our e-shop. And so you have access to everything that was in the conference in a way that you can pick it up in your own time. So you'll see there's a sort of rough list there. We were in Strasbourg in 2016, Bucharest in 2018. Then we had a couple of conferences during the pandemic online. And then in 2022, we were in Valencia. And this year, we've been in Istanbul. So please try and get to a conference if you can. Next slide, please. We run a series of events and training, and these are getting more and more all the time, because we run some events sort of centrally from EASE for all members, but we also have our regional chapter network who run events in their own chapters, and sometimes, you know, share their events with other chapters as well. So you can quite often hook into something that another chapter might be doing that's of particular interest to you. So in that way, you get access to loads of events. We've got a couple of big multi-module courses, one for journal editors and one for manuscript editors and academic authors. These run over 4 weeks. The manuscript editors course runs over 4 weeks. The journal editors course runs over 8 weeks. But they're really, you know, excellent courses which really delve into the detail and you know, give you a huge amount of scope for learning the latest information in those sections. And on top of that, you know, we have a resource library, which I'll come to in a moment, where you have guidelines, checklists, and toolkits. I'll talk about that in just a sec. So next slide. Okay, so here is just a quick view of our website. So right on the home page, right at the top, you've got our box for events and training. It surfaces the next 3 training events of ease, or sorry, the next 3 events of ease. So you'll see in this slide clip I've got here, this was from May, and then you can hook out to that and get the full detail of the event and go forward and register and so on. So really quick and easy to get to the full calendar. Next slide. There is the full calendar. So in amongst our own events, the calendar also includes sort of, you know, events of interest from the wider industry. So if you've got an event that you're wishing to promote to our audience, you can pop it yourself straight in the calendar. So you can have a really good look and see what's happening in the scholarly publishing sort of, you know, ecosystem, and get your events go straight through to registration. Next slide. So here it is in list form, and you can see you can just click straight out and register for the event where registration is available. Next slide. Okay, we also have as ease a number of publications. There's just a few of them shown here, but there's sort of publications and courses. So this Sex and Gender Equality, Equity and Research course is something we've been doing with the Elsevier Researcher Academy and Gendro. That's, you know, a great sort of video. It's several video courses which you could, you know, modules which you can step through and really get to grips with the sex and gender requirements of your research. But we also have all sorts of other things. There's one there for retraction. There's one there about quick check table for submissions when you're submitting your manuscript. So all of those sort of publications are available to you in our resource library. Next slide. So the resource library is fully searchable, curated content featuring guidelines, checklists, articles, and tools from ease and from the wider industry. So we sort of we look for partners that are, you know, bona fide industry experts that are putting together really good content, and then we make that available, you know, where it's freely accessible. We make that available in our library with a short curation from ease to explain what it is, how you should use it, you know, what this is good for. So it's really a bit of hand holding by our ease editors to help, you know, help people coming to the site to be able to find what they're looking for. So on top of that, we have 3 toolkits, one for authors, one for peer reviewers, and one for editors. And there's more coming with that. This is a new project that we're working on at the moment. So you can get involved by submitting your relevant resources for your community, and they will then, in the case of India, will show up in the Indian chapter page as well as on the main resource deck. Next slide. So here you can see how that works. You go ahead and log in with your membership details, and then you can access all of the details there and hook out to get the resources that you need. Next slide. This is not yet ready, but this is the project. It's just a mock-up of the project that we're working on at the moment. So we're going to basically broaden the resource library, or make it part of something much bigger. So through our learning hub, you'll be able to access our courses, the resource library that we've just looked at, all the toolkits, our webinars, our conferences, and the journal article content, all from like one central hub. And you'll be able to search this by your user type. So if you're an author, or if you're an editor, or if you're a peer reviewer, you'll be able to search, dynamically through the whole of the database here to be able to pull out the content that's of interest to you. So that project is underway at the moment. Several of this leadership team are working with me on that. So yeah, exciting times coming soon on the Learning Hub. Next slide. So we have several special interest groups. We have one for environment and sustainability, one for equity, diversity and inclusion. Currently, we have one for SAGER, which is the sex and gender reporting guidelines for researchers. And we've got a new group just being formed at the moment around psychiatry editors and looking at how we can support them. That's an initiative being led by one of our senior EASE members. And then we have our audience groups. So whether you're a researcher or an author, a manuscript editor, or a journal editor, a peer reviewer, and so on, that there's sort of a way of coming into EASE via your audience group and being able to search the content in a way that suits you. Next slide. And then similarly, we have so that's a sort of topic. The special interest groups are sort of designed by topic or by audience. And then the regional chapter network is really dividing the membership by geographic area, so that we as EASE are able to deliver much more locally to you and to address issues that are going on in your country with your own leadership team. So that's your EASE India there. You'll see there's currently 12 chapters. Russia is currently suspended, so there's 11 active chapters, but they're all quite different. Some of them have a lot of members, some of them have a few members, but we're really developing this network now, and there's a lot of activity going on across the network, so it's really good to be able to hook into your own local chapter activities, but also you might think, oh, they're doing something that's really interesting, perhaps we could do that too. Next slide. Okay, so member communications, we have a couple of ways that we get information out. So we have a blog which features news items, articles, interviews, and various publications of all sorts. And you can write something for our EASE blog. So if you have something interesting going on in your area, you can submit a blog article for us and we'll get that published up on the site. That's accessible directly from the homepage. And we also have a monthly newsletter which goes out to all our members, which basically gives you a kind of quick what's coming up with it, what's the latest news at EASE and what are the next events coming up that you can register for. And then we also include in that, a big sort of benefit is we curate the latest industry news and hot topics, and we bring you some quick snippets of those so that you can link out to them and get the full detail of the things you're interested in. So if there's anything you're working on or you've spotted that would be relevant for these publications, then yeah, jump in and let me know. Next slide. So here's just a quick view of the homepage again. So the EASE Digest blog is just there on the second row, and as you go through to it, you can again filter by if you're looking for a meeting report or latest news or an editorial, you can filter that blog and get to all the articles that are there. Next slide. We've also just got our forum, and this has just been relaunched on a new platform. So here EASE members can basically pose a question or raise an issue to other EASE members. So if you're struggling with a particular issue, you think, God, I'm really worrying about this, how do I organize this? You can actually post a question or post a topic, and then other EASE members will respond directly to you. So you can see there's 2 questions about systematic review. There's a whole thing about abbreviations going on. There was an application there where someone had applied to DOAJ and were kind of confused why they were rejected, and then there was lots of support for them going forward to explain what was going on. And then we will also, there's a chapter there, a board within that forum, especially for EASE India. So we've got just a couple of topics on there, I think, just to welcome you. So if you'd like to go in there and add to that, you can go ahead and pose a topic, and your fellow colleagues will come along and hopefully respond to you. Next slide, Roohi. Okay, so for those of you that are members, but just for those of you that aren't members, it just gives you a bit of a clue as to what membership would, what benefits there would be of membership. There's just a few slides here which kind of show some of the detail of that. So from your dashboard, once you log in as a member, you come to your own EASE dashboard, and from there you can download your membership badge and your handbook, which has all the detail about what's happening at EASE. You can edit your profile and keep it up to date, which is really important because you'll see that in a moment. You can see your activities. You can download your invoices and get your certificates directly yourself from your own dashboard. You can change your password, and you can enter your own events or your editorial and training services and advertise your job opportunities all from your dashboard. So go ahead. So the way you would get to that is you log in with your password details by pressing this top right members button. And then on the next slide, Roohi, that will take you, go to dashboard. And so you head straight to your dashboard. And there you can see, you can pick up your membership badge, see your handbook, and edit your details. And you just get some odd messages from me about things that are coming up. And then on the next slide, this is how your membership kind of profile is promoted within the site. So you, according to what positions you put down, you can decide whether you want your membership details promoted just to members or to the general public. And obviously that will depend a bit on what you do. So if you're a freelancer, like Yatin is, he's obviously very keen that his information should be out there so that he can gather some business. So his whole profile record is listed there, and that's how it's promoted. And then within Ease India, you'll see that Yatin and various other people there are already showing. So you can fill in all your account details, and there's the various tabs on the left-hand side where you would whip down and just add all the detail. I won't dwell on that, but that's how it works. And then on the next slide, Roohi, I thought it was worth just looking at how your activities work. So each time you do an activity with us, whether you pay your subscription or you come to a workshop or you come to a webinar or whatever, that will be listed in your activity record. And then where it's a course or something that's certificate, you get a certificate. You can then download that directly from the website. So you can get that immediately the event is over. And then finally, you can, as I said, you can promote your own events, your editorial services if you're a freelancer with your own business, or if you're a training provider and you run, you do training and you run courses, you can put all of those directly in yourself, and then they will appear in our registers on the website. I think the next slide is just showing you how that works. So if you're registering, putting in an editorial service, it will look like the one on the left, and very similarly, the one on the right if you're a trainer. So that's a great way of promoting your services. Okay, so I'm now going to hand over to Anita, and Anita is going to take you through this next set of slides, and we can, at the end, we'll have a chance to ask questions and have some discussion. Thanks, Anita.
Thanks, Mary. So we'll take off right from Mary's great overview and some details of the entire Ease umbrella. And we're going to go just under the umbrella to the Ease India chapter now. Why is there a need for this chapter? What are the objectives of the chapter? What do we hope to do? And what are our immediate plans? Of course, like Mary said, we'll take in a lot of your inputs from time to time. Please feel free to type your thoughts in the chat window, or if you could wait until the end, we'll open up the session for more inputs. Okay, so one of the challenges that journal editors, reviewers, manuscript editors, everybody in the scholarly and publishing community in India, what are the challenges that we are facing, right? So based on some general discussions and inputs from participants at a previous event, we listed a few points here. The first one here is that we think editors, reviewers, and researchers could benefit from support that exposes them to the best practices in publishing, which will help them enhance the quality and increase the quantity of research. In terms of editorial teams, they have subject matter expertise. They may benefit, however, from the knowledge and skills that are required to enhance the standard of their journal, especially in the digital age. And from the perspective of reviewers, one of the challenges is knowing how to review articles critically, how to provide constructive and informative feedback to researchers, authors who will submit their articles and manuscripts for publication. We do recognize that there will be other challenges, and we look forward to hearing from you about specific barriers and challenges that you may face, that you may be facing today. Please feel free to keep typing them in the chat box or wait until the end. What we will do is we'll take your inputs and then see how we can best provide support through existing resources of ease, or by tailoring these resources for the Indian context, or by perhaps creating newer training programs and delivering other content that may be helpful for you as ease members to address these challenges. Next slide, please, Roohi. So what are the objectives of the Ease India chapter? We'd like to raise the awareness of ease among the Indian scientific and scholarly publishing and editing communities. We plan to organize training activities and thematic events for all the audience groups that we target within India. As Mary discussed, there is a wealth of resources already available through the EASE website, and we'd like to promote these EASE guidelines and resources to support our members in the best way possible. If required, we are open to also tailoring these resources in whatever way will best benefit everyone here. EASE India will represent the Indian scientific and scholarly editing and publishing community within the entire EASE organization. Next slide, please, Roohi. So who is our audience? We target and welcome members from the scientific and scholarly communities from all levels, whether you're a student who is looking to publish your research, whether you're an early career, mid-level, senior level researcher, an academic author, manuscript editor, journal editor, whether you're serving on the editorial advisory board, whether you're looking to create a new journal, whether you're looking to provide services through author service providing organizations, or even if you are a peer reviewer. Now, there may also be other audiences, people who are in the journal marketing and other publication workflow, who are taking other roles in the publication workflow. So EASE India welcomes all of our members from these communities. Next slide, please. What have we done till date? So as mentioned earlier, EASE India was initially established sometime last year, about a year and a half ago. This year, the chapter has been revamped, revitalized. We now have a leadership team and a new chair and vice chair. We've had some meetings so far to make plans for the chapter. There is presence for EASE India on the EASE website, as Mary had demonstrated earlier. Please feel free to go and explore the EASE India chapter page, and also the discussion platform, which is of which there is one portion dedicated to EASE India. We've represented India on the EASE Regional Chapter Committee. Earlier this year, some of you may have been part of this event. I was part of it. I attended it. The EASE School for Manuscript Editors and Academic Authors program was delivered over 4 weeks by Yatin. And there were 2 guest presenters as well. That was great training, useful one. And we hope to potentially deliver it again sometime in the future. We got together to also plan some of the program for the coming months, the autumn 2023 program. This is the first one, so a big welcome to everybody, and thank you for making the time to attend this. For the details of the other programs that are planned and the other events, I'll hand it over to Roohi.
Thank you. So I'll just start with what we are planning. Basically, we are looking to establish a set of regular meetings, probably the first Wednesday of every month, where the EASE members will meet. We will, in these sessions, not just discuss what the plan for the next month is, but we'll try and make as much as possible, try and convert some of these into learning sessions as well. So in October, as you see, we have one learning session that is going to be led by Manu Goyal on the good scientific practice and research integrity. So building trust in science. And the session is basically planned for the 4th of October. We were looking to find out and to get views from this group for does this time of the day work for everyone. We are doing this event, this is a welcome event. This is one of the first events of the India chapter, so we are looking to find out from you whether 6:30 p.m. India time is good. Should it be part of the working day? Should it be after the working day is done? So if you have any views, please post it in chat here. We will definitely take those into consideration as we set the final time. This is tentative for now, just to get your views on whether it is convenient or not. In December, so this was for October. In December, we are looking to launch something called the Writing Retreat. It's going to be a 2-day practical course and writing support session, which is going to be in partnership with Heritage, of which I am a part as well. And this is planned for Wednesday, that is the 6th of December and the 13th of December. So it's a 2-part session, and I'll speak more about that as we move ahead. So this is details for the October session first. If you look at this, you will see that the registrations are open. You can sign up for this. You can sign up for this right now after the event, or as per your convenience. Like I mentioned, it's being led by Manu Goyal, who is the scientific advisor for the International Journal of Cancer in Germany. And she's going to be talking about her understanding and her experience of research integrity at this journal. So I think we'll all have a lot to learn. And I think just, let's just look at these learning sessions as just self-development, just a time to network with each other, to ask questions, to really just expand our understanding of how publishing and the industry works. So I think that's a great opportunity. I'll go on to talk more about the writing retreat course, which I said was scheduled for December. Now, so we have done this at Heritage in the past, where we've made this available, the writing retreat, in the past to researchers across the world as well as in Korea, and we realized that a lot of training programs are done on the how. So the how of writing is critical, yes, but sometimes the problem that researchers and authors face, or that editors face, is not I don't know how to do it, but it's just that dedication or that self-discipline to sit down and spend that time writing. And all the different reasons people have told us for why they put it off. They say they procrastinate. Somebody's got like a 3-year-old daughter, she's not able to focus on writing. Somebody's completing an MBA dissertation alone as an online student, and finds that accountability, working in a group session, helps her stay on track. Another researcher in Turkey said, he has ADHD and needs an external structure of being able to manage this. So there are multiple reasons why you may feel the need to bring in that self-discipline, and the writing retreat course will help you do that. So I know there are times, right, until you don't push yourself to start writing, you just keep putting it on the back burner and saying, I'll just take care of this tomorrow. So this is to help overcome that writer's block. It is to provide advice from peer reviewers, from journal editors about what they're looking for. It's to bring in some focus, help make progress, and help those who are attending this Heritage Ease writing retreat to feel supported, that you're not the only one who's facing the same challenge, but there are other people like you who have different reasons because of which they're not able to bring in that discipline in their writing schedule. So this one, the writing retreat, is going to be a paid program, which is going to be priced at 3,000 per person. Like we mentioned, it's going to be a 2-week training program. The first week, we will have a training on the topic is behind the scenes of manuscript evaluation, what journal editors and peer reviewers look for in your writing. I'll tell you more about the trainer here. And this will be followed by time that will be set aside where, we'll just, as a group, just keep the call on and spend dedicated time for writing. In this, again, there's going to be a training session from good to great techniques for elevating your manuscript to publication ready status. And again, there's going to be time set aside for writing. Just a correction, all these sessions are going to be 1-hour sessions, not 2 hours. And the session will be led by Shalini in week 1. So that is the session on what journal editors and peer reviewers look for, will be led by Shalini Garg, who is the editor-in-chief for Lancet Regional Health. And the week 2, that is the session on techniques for elevating your manuscript to publication ready status, will be led by Yatendra Joshi, who is an ease member, and like Vivek said, comes with a lot of experience in editing. This is a little bit about how it would work. Once you sign up for the session, you would be sparing to us each week for 2 weeks on your learning and writing goals. You can decide what those goals are in advance. So just setting your implementation intention will help you achieve that goal. So, you may be writing an abstract and you'll say, okay, in this session, I'm going to finish that abstract. Or you may be doing a literature review and you'll say, okay, in this session, I'm going to do X% of that. So whatever your intention is, you need to have that very clear. And then what we will do is we will use the Pomodoro technique, which is basically breaking your time into units of 25 minutes, each separated by 5 minutes, to help you achieve your writing goal. So that is the general idea for how both the workshops as well as the writing retreat will work. If there are, of course, any follow-up questions you have, please put them in chat and we will take care of you. We'll respond to all of those later. I think Visa, do you go next now?
Thanks, Roohi. So it was a nice session. Thank you, everyone. I request all the participants to unmute and tell us if you would be able to give us feedback on what are the member benefits you learned about, the member benefits that are of most value to you, and what you would like to know more about the committee participation webinars and forums, and other things in which EASE could offer support to you in your work, and things you would like to get involved in, and other feedbacks and ideas. So these questions, if you would like to answer. So Mary, I will go to the Jamboard.
Thank you, Visa. I've just added the Jamboard link in the chat. So for those of you that would like, I don't know, can you share that? Roohi, are you able to share that?
Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah. Okay, so we can put it up on screen so that everybody can see, but you can actually link directly in a new browser to the Jamboard, and then you will be able to participate and pop your comments directly on the Jamboard. Or if that's too difficult for you, please put them in chat and I can between us, we'll hook them over so that they get there. So this is a very, very simple kind of Google tool where you can just pick up a sticky note on the left-hand side. She's got lots of them open now. There you go.
Yep.
So if you just go to the left-hand menu there and just show where the sticky note is. And then if you just pop one of those on the board, you can then write away in it and just save it onto the board and just say who you are, what you're thinking, what your ideas are. Sorry, Visa, I jumped in there just to explain about the link.
Mary, I have a couple of questions.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, so this conference which you said it's hybrid. So, is it also for the attendees or is it for the speaker? It's a hybrid session, or is the attendees can also attend from India? How is it?
Yes, no, it's hybrid for everybody. So there
Okay.
you can attend in person and be there in the venue with a kind of core team, or you can attend online, which comes at obviously a cheaper rate and doesn't involve you traveling or finding any accommodation. So it's quite, it's a cost-effective way of being able to attend. So we have whether you attend in person or online, you have additional discounts as is India, because India is low income country. So we offer additional discounts for those. So you'll have like our maximum discount to come to the event. So hopefully we can make it affordable for everybody.
Okay, that's great. So I think we can come, the East members can come if there is a discount.
Anybody can come. I mean, the conference is open to all. There are significant discounts if you're a member, so it's worth joining to claim your discount to come to the conference. But they are open to all, so anybody can come.
Okay. So the other one is like, you had said that one slide says that who all can be a member. So it was listing individuals like authors, journal editors, and all that. Are institutions not allowed to be a member, like a university, a school, an office? Is it allowed? Like, there are so many typesetting companies in India. Are they allowed to be a member of these?
Yes. So the way we work in EASE is we have group membership. So if you're, as you say, like an institution, you might be a university department, or you might be an author servicing company or whatever, or a publisher. You can join, a number of your members as a group, and there again we offer discounts according to how big your group is. So the minimum number to be a group is 5. And if you have 5 people in your office or in your department or whatever, then you start to attract discounts for being a member. So that's the way our institutions are organized. So then once you've done that, you would normally join like 5 named people, and so you decide who you think would benefit the most from his membership, and we sign them up for those 5 people. But we do offer some sort of flexibility in that. So if you had a different member of your staff who would be particularly interested in this particular webinar, then we sort of allow you to substitute that person. So long as you didn't go over your 5 limit, you would be able to substitute someone else within your 5. So that's how that sort of works.
Okay.
There are a couple of quick questions, Mary.
I've got questions coming, which I'm going to try and answer as I go. Yeah. So go ahead, Visa.
So they have some questions. I'm not able to see the Jamboard. Roohi, can you make it little bigger?
Someone's asked science writing or editing internships at EASE. Does EASE offer science writing or editing internships?
No, I don't think we do that. Certainly not in a formal way. I mean, again, that's the sort of thing that you would do well to put on the forum. So if you were looking for an internship, you could put that request on the forum and say, I'm looking for this. Is anyone offering such a thing? Because lots of our members would offer that sort of thing.
The next question is, any fee charged to become a member at EASE?
Yeah, so I'm just popping that on the Jamboard now. So there, in a minute, when we get to the end of this, then Vivek is going to highlight an offer that we're doing at the moment. So I've popped in on the Jamboard the link to our membership rates page. So there's different rates for as I say, for different groups and for different types of individual. But because India is a low income country, you're sort of on the maximum discount, which is really nice for you guys. But what we're going to do is offer you a special deal now to say, if you were to join now for 2024, then we would give you the last quarter of 2023 for free. So if you were to join now, pay your 2024 subscription, and then you would be able to be a member from now, which means you would open up all the benefits of membership over the next 4 months until the end of 23 before your actual membership kicks in. So that's a really nice deal. You're getting a bit of an extra offer there for being part of Ease India. And once you're an Ease member, you're automatically part of Ease India.
There's a related question about membership, which is I just signed up, paid the membership fee. Where will I receive my login details?
If you've done that just when I get off this call. So yeah, so generally I can do it on the same day. I am sometimes, there's only one of me, so I am sometimes in meetings and stuff, but generally I'll do it the same day. But let me see. Just have a look at that one about the Indian Copy Editors Forum. Organises an online weekly co-working session at 9. This could serve as a warm-up to the Ease Writing Retreat. Yeah, that's a really nice offer.
Conferences are open to all. I think that's a question.
Yeah, that we just discussed that a minute ago, didn't we? So yeah, they're open to all. There are discounts for members. And you can join them online as well as attend in person. So that's really that makes it very accessible to everybody. Hands-on training courses. Yeah, okay, that will be really good. Okay, so for those who's here that was on the is there anybody here that was on the manuscript editors course? Apart from Anita?
I think there must be somebody else.
Yeah, if not, Anita.
I was too.
Yeah, do you want to just want to explain your sort of how you found that and how that was for you?
Should I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yes. There is a manuscript editors course that happened over a period of 4 weeks. It covered various aspects of copy editing, including tools to use for various purposes. Also, I think, and I think, Mary, is that something we would be offering early next year, Roohi, Vivek?
Well, yes, the manuscript editors course and the journal editors course exist already. You know, they're kind of ready to roll. So we can rerun them, or we can rerun a kind of adapted version of them at any time. And that's really one of the questions for this group, isn't it? Is there, you know, would people like that? And if so, when's a good time? You know, is it in the spring or is it before?
Yeah, I think we can work that out. So to answer the to just address the comment on you'd like hands-on training on this. So the course actually gave a flavor of different tools and different aspects of the manuscript editing journey. And I also think there are other webinars that Ease offers in which some aspects are covered. Like there was a session on AI, right, Mary, that Avi Steinman led. So that was open to everybody. That was related to AI tools in editing. And
yes, so that was a webinar that we ran. So what happens is Ease actually runs 8 webinars a year that are that's sort of like in 2 series. So there's a series in the spring January, February, March, April, and then there's a series in the autumn, September through to December. And they're really kind of focused at our key audiences. So there'll be like a webinar really focused on authors and researchers, and another webinar really focused on journal editors. And the topics are quite, obviously there's lots of crossover because lots of people do more than one thing, or over the course of your career you'll certainly do more than one thing. But that's the way those webinars sort of are put together. But then obviously as time goes on, hot topics come up all the time. So when you've got a really hot topic like AI, for example, then we try to gather, some people who are really kind of at the forefront of that new topic and are putting a lot of information out. And we try and get a speaker for one of those topics, and we make those webinars available to all. So we do a couple of those. We did one for AI in May, and you can view that on the EASE website. And we also do a special event for Peer Review Week, and we're actually doing that this year with Cactus. So there's going to be an event during Peer Review Week, which again will be open to all. But as hot topics arise, we try and pepper those in so that we make sure we don't miss anything. And we just try to grab, the people who are really at the forefront of whatever the topic is, and see if we can persuade them to come and share a little bit of where they're at. And sometimes they have the answers, and sometimes the answers aren't clear yet. Sometimes it's what are the issues that this is raising, and that was very much where we were with AI. In May we were like, whoa, this is really hot. What's the issues that this is raising? How are we, who's doing what about it? What can we learn from each other? What do we think is going forward? So sometimes it's very much a work in progress. It's not just here's the answer. It's really raising the issue. So on the chat, there's a question about, are the courses self-paced? So that is a slightly different thing. So where you've got a course that's being delivered live by a trainer, then those courses, will take you through a curriculum, as it were, of the however many modules it is, and you'll have all your supporting materials, and that's fine. What we do is recognizing the time issues, and also for many the language barrier. When you sign up to a course and you attend a course, you will receive the kind of edited recordings of that. So we once the session is over, we take the recording, we kind of edit out any nonsense from it, like people not being able to get on board and that sort of thing. And then we make those available to the people who registered, and sometimes we make those available as paid products in our shop. But so in that way, you are sort of able to go back over the material at your own pace and talk through it again. And the trainers are very supportive. So, if you were doing that, they would be happy to have an email from you going, I've just done, module 2 again, and actually I'm not clear about this. I've got a question about such and such, please help me. The trainers would be happy enough to support you by email in that way. So they can be self-paced in that regard. Equally, many of the courses or many of the sort of resources that are in the resource library are self-guided courses. So, that is there for you to do at any time, and you can go at your own pace and get yourself walked through, and again, people are very happy to be supported by emails with the forum or whatever. So I think there's lots of opportunities to have self-guided material if that's what you're looking for. So let me add that to here.
So Mary, I have a couple more questions.
Go for it.
Yeah. So do we include other language journals and things like other languages? So India is now promoting even medical degree in Hindi and sort of things like that. So they're going to have launch a college with the medical degree in Hindi. So if there are other so they are going to translate all these English journals which are already there into Hindi, so that they can facilitate the students who are going to learn in that language. So are we going to consider all these other language journals and institutions or authors, whoever they may be, into ease?
Okay, so this is how it works in other chapters who are operating in a different language. So generally, part of the kind of remit of the chapter is to understand what that requirement is. So for instance, in Turkey, that there are, although lots of Turkish journals do actually publish in English, a lot of people are much happier in speaking in their native language. So we have the Turkish chapter have translated a number of these materials into Turkish. I think they've done the handbook, they've certainly done the author guidelines, they do quite a lot of ease articles into Turkish. So that's very much in the hands of the chapter, and the chapter generally does that translation. So for instance, in Ukraine, the chapter leadership in Ukraine translated all of the course material and the slide decks and so on for the journal editors course into Ukraine in time for the course to be delivered. So while the trainer was delivering in English, they had the slides in Ukrainian, and then the breakout sessions were moderated in Ukrainian by the Ukrainian leadership team. So it would be possible to set up we have quite a lot of experience of doing that because of the chapters we already have. So it's very much, for you to identify people who are able to translate it for you and who are willing to do it, and then we can provide the format for that.
Okay, that's interesting. I think because this is going to a big development in India, so this is going to happen in a big way. So it has started. So all these inputs could help us.
Yeah.
So
I think that our experience is it really helps with quality, because when you're trying to learn something in a foreign language, it's just takes longer, doesn't it? It's much more kind of time consuming and effort consuming to do that. So I think providing materials in the local language just means that you can kind of do stuff quicker and get have a better understanding, and then you can go forward. So we would certainly be very supportive of that, and we do that already for quite a few of our other chapters.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the topics covered in the conference, and what are the themes for the posters? So I can answer that. So each conference has a kind of theme, and generally, they're fairly broad. So the theme of this year's conference was quality science publishing. So how do we improve the quality of science publishing? The theme of the Valencia conference was the manuscript journey, which was actually after the sort of drama of the pandemic. That conference was very much a kind of back to basics thing, looking at what are the steps, who is it, what are the steps that are involved in getting a manuscript from the researcher writing it to it being published and promoted to the wider audience. And everybody who's involved in that process had like a slot in the session. So it literally led you from I've just finished my research and now I've got to write my paper. Gosh, how do I go about that? Starting with that, and then I've got these articles in my journal and I need to get them promoted, and I need to get we need to get this scientific knowledge into the hands of influencers and policymakers so that they actually can do something with it, and everybody that's involved in that chain along the way. And this was really our sort of relaunch of EASE in terms of welcoming everybody who's on that spectrum of the disciplines involved in getting a manuscript out and published. So the topics would have included, what I can do is, if I, hang on, let me just link you to the right page. So if I link up to the Istanbul conference that we just had, you can view all this on our website. So the keynote was called Scientific Publishing, Quality, Ethics and Integrity. What does good science publishing look like? So that was quite an important sort of context setting for the whole conference. So then we had things like auditing journal best practice. Why do we do it this way? Is it working? Quality publishing needs quality people. You know, like how are you looking after your editorial board, the training, the retention, the remuneration of people? There's 2 sessions on peer review. One was looking at transparency in peer review, and the other at the ethics of peer review and what happens when things go wrong. We had a session called Quality Requires Investment, Who Pays? So this was like looking at, you know, if you're flipping your journal from a subscription model to open access, are you having APCs? How are you actually funding that? You know, so there was a whole sort of session there about the different funding models for journals and the different funding models for the way things are put together in terms of remunerating your editorial board and so on. There was a big session on digital tools to help. So that did look at AI in June. So there was all sorts of tools in there of different things. I can probably link to that. Sorry, everything's a little bit slow. So we looked at social media for scientific journals, keeping up with the times, AI tools, threat or opportunity, a publication facts label, so a digital tool to help establish the quality of the journal, and identifiers and metadata, an important part of the publication process. So those are the types of things in that session. We looked at journal performance beyond the impact factor, and quality metrics requirements for indexing. So there we had, you know, people from Web of Science, people from Clarivate, and then we finished up with a debate which was which debated open access will reduce quality publishing, true or false. So that was quite a lively session. So you can, if I just link to, I'll put it on the Jamboard a minute. You can link to our, there's this conference and then there's previous conferences. So once you're in there, you'll be able to navigate quite easily. So you can see the programs from previous conferences too. So let's pop that on the Jamboard.
I think the posters are also available, right, Mary? The poster.
Yeah, sorry, and then the posters.
I can't see the Jamboard. Roohi sharing?
No, I'll start sharing now.
Okay, hang on. Okay, now I'm not. Okay, let me pop it in the chat a minute, and I'll add it to the Jamboard in a sec when I can get onto it. It's gone for a minute. Right, as far as posters is concerned, what generally happens with posters is sorry, let me just make sure I'm not only replying to one person. Right, that's the link for the conferences. Right, with posters, the posters are, the exhibition is put up from the 1st of June, sorry, the 1st of June until, and then it stays up. So once the exhibition is up, it just stays up online. We then mount the posters physically in the venue, and then the actual competition judging is done just before we go to the conference, and the awards are given at the conference. So there's basically 2 categories. So one is for sort of scientific posters, and one is for non-scientific ones, and that sounds a bit weird, but that's really things like so one is about, you know, I've researched this and here's the outcome of my research, but the non-scientific ones are more for sort of workflow or you know, a particular kind of initiative that you've been running. So it might be we've created this new workflow for managing multilingualism in our journal. And so it's that type of thing rather than a specific research project. So it comes in 2 categories. We usually have additional prizes for or additional prize for entrants from the country of the conference. So in this year it was an additional prize for Turkish entrants. But yeah, the process is pretty simple. So you can have anything, kind of, you can put your research in, doesn't matter what the theme of it is. You know, it's wide open because obviously that we can accept things from everywhere. So yeah, the poster competition is a really good opportunity. And then on the last day of the conference, we normally do like a sort of 3/4 of an hour session where the winners and as many others as wish to do it or are there in the venue, either online or in person, gets a chance to promote to actually present their poster for 2 or 3 minutes. So we generally do that so that we can fit that into one of the sessions. And that's sometimes that's quite important for people to be able to have that recognition. Yeah. So are there any other thoughts? So we will try and grab this Jamboard and make that available through our Ease India site. Vivek, do you want to just go ahead and just recap that offer that is on the last slide?
Mary, can I have
sorry. Oh, and you.
What about my
yes,
conference?
Yes, go ahead, Visa. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So can you go to page 2 of this, Roohi? Just
So
share
on the Jamboard.
on the Jamboard.
The Jamboard. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. So I just want to invite you all to the conference which I'm organizing on 30th September and October 1st. It is a sustainability conference. So actually, during the Corona time, I was initiated into finding out what happens to my garbage. So I traveled and then found out how it all goes into the landfill and into the sea. So a group of volunteers here in Pondicherry. So we were all going to the government and other bodies, local bodies, and asking why you can't get this waste segregated and all that. And so we were talking to different people and we were protesting kind of thing. But later on, we found out after 2 years, it's no use asking somebody to do something. So then we initiated this movement called this Eco Bloom. And then myself and another person called Kirti, we are leading it here. And then we decided to meet people, ecopreneurs, and I'm myself running a company, and so I've been into entrepreneurship for last 13 years. And so I also meet a lot of entrepreneurs and ecopreneurs. So we thought, why don't we bring them all together and make the change happen instead of waiting for the government to do it or waiting for somebody else to do it. So that is how this summit was born. We were meeting people, ecopreneurs, and this time we have a full-fledged conference where we are bringing in investors or CSR funders to help these people. They have very small requirements, but they're having very interesting eco-conscious businesses people are having. So it is a very small amount which they require to get it started. And so we are having this conference so that they can meet. You have already always we have all heard about conferences where people are pitching big money. You have heard about Shark Tank and all that, but this conference is going to be really soulful and meaningful. So we are helping people who are going to do those conscious businesses. We are going to create conscious spaces and conscious businesses, and the impact will be we will be reducing waste that's going to the landfill and that's going to the oceans. So we are inviting even these government people to witness this summit, so that they also know that we are getting we really mean what we say. So this conference will get the attention of the local bodies also to change things. So that is about the conference, and I invite you all because everybody, like many of you have been asking me, when are you doing the next copy editing conference? But I landed up in doing a sustainability conference. So even before this, we're having 6 days of stalls where it is kind of a zero waste festival. No waste will be going to the landfill. We just compose the wet waste, and the dry waste will be collected and disposed in a proper manner. So in that festival, I'm also hosting a editors meet. So whatever ICF meet we do, so that I would like to host it on the Friday, which is September 29th, in the venue where we are doing that Zero Waste Festival. So I welcome you all to all these events, like the editors meet as well as this event. So it will be a good to meet you all there again.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you,
Yeah,
Visa.
thank you so much for the.
I've popped the email there in the chat so that you can link straight through to that if you want to register your for the conference.
Yeah. Just
Okay, so Roohi, you can head back to the slide deck and then Vivek will wrap up for us. If anyone has anything else, just pop it on the Jamboard or pop it in the chat, whichever suits you, and I'll try to answer what questions I can.
Thank you, everyone. It was a very enriching and interesting conversation and welcome event today. And as Mary mentioned previously, if you take membership of Ease India in the next few days, you get all the days for this particular year for free. Like your membership actually starts from January 1, but you get the 4 months extra. So that's a benefit you should not miss out on, because some of the Ease events are also coming up. Like next month, Manu Goyal will be presenting her session, and I see her in the participants list. If she can just say a hi, it will be good to put a face to the name that we have been hearing. And there was a comment on the Jamboard also, someone just took an offer. So if the person can identify himself or herself, it will help us welcome the new member. And maybe if he or she is willing, they can join the group on WhatsApp also for Ease India, which has like 20 plus members. So 4,500 is the individual price, and we receive like for the fourth quarter, that's like you get it for free. You can write at this email ID and then take it forward. And Visa, thanks a lot for the practical things you are doing. Like it's not theory, it's practical, trying to bring about a practical change and fight climate change. Like all of us are witnessing the after effects. And like your event will be preceded by the editors meet, which again is a very welcome meet. So those who are in Pondicherry should definitely not be missing it. Those in Chennai can also make an effort and come, because these gatherings, like takes a lot of effort to organize such kind of meetings, and it's always a joy to meet fellow editors. And I hope like next year there will be a bigger meeting when we have maybe not one but two ICF books. Like one book is already out. The details are in the resources section on the chapter page. And next one we will try to launch by January, so that we can take advantage of the World Book Fair that will come up in February from 10th to 18th of February. And Mary has been, I would say, Mary has been the glue that is like keeping us all together, and all the hard work that she has done has resulted in this event conducted today being successful. I was like happy with the number of participants who turned up and like stayed till the very end. So that's a very encouraging sign. So we will see you next month. Happy to see a lot of ICF members. So we want even non-ICF members to join. They can join ICF. They can join Ease India. I don't believe in boundaries. I believe in breaking boundaries, because like with technology, everything is coming together. The opportunities and the options that are there, it's just limitless. There is no limit to the kind of learning and collaboration, symbiotic relationships and partnerships that can happen. And with all of you in leadership roles, we will make it happen. We will make a change for the better. Thanks all of you.
Okay, thanks very much. And I'll send everybody a link to the recording. So if anyone wasn't able to join us, they can catch up. And I'll pop all those offers and links on the email as well, so that you've got everything handy. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you next
Thanks,
time.
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone, bye-bye.
Bye.
Stella.
Bye.
Thanks, Mary.
Okay. Bye.